My very, very favorite part of living in Jerusalem was when the siren would go off on Friday afternoons, letting everyone in Jerusalem know that Shabbat was about 40 minutes away. My apartment was equidistant from the bodega on my street and the supermarket, and it really didn't matter where you were shopping on Friday, especially if you went to the outdoor shuk, but really any of those types of grocery stores were like Thanksgiving morning going to Publix every single Friday. But then when the siren went off, the whole city went quiet. Buses don't run on the same schedule in Jerusalem. There's been a lot of changes in legislation about what buses can run and where they can run in recent years, and you really have to know where to look to find a restaurant that's open on Shabbat. But for me, this was the epitome of living in a Jewish state, living according to the Jewish calendar, both on a weekly and on a yearly basis. For many people, Israeli and who were living in Israel this past year, living in a Jewish state went to a whole nother level. The way that they consumed and produced produce was different because beginning last Rosh Hashanah and continuing for another about 29 days, the land of Israel has been in what is known as a Shemitah year. Just like we have Shabbat for 6 days, or we have a work week for 6 days, and then we have Shabbat, there are 3 passages in Torah that talk about how every 7 years we need to let the land rest as well. And allowing the land to rest begins with prohibition against farming, tilling, planting, harvesting, pruning, and goes as far as saying you cannot sell fruit or produce in the land of Israel if you are Jewish. This is in the Torah. There are a lot of loopholes that have happened over time so that the not Orthodox, those secular people, the not Jewish people in Israel can actually still buy produce in Israel. And for most non-Orthodox Jews, simply acknowledging that it is a Shemitah year is a symbolic way of connecting the modern state of Israel back to this 2,000-year dream and to our Torah. The 3 passages that mention the Shemitah, one in Exodus, one in Leviticus, and one that we are going to read in just a moment, all look at this Shemitah year a little bit differently. The first one, in the book of Exodus, follows a reminder not to oppress the stranger because we were once strangers in a strange land. The commandment says that you are to sow your land for 6 years, and then on the 7th year let it rest, and let those who are in need come and reap the harvest on your land. In Leviticus, the emphasis is on the need for the land itself to rest, recognizing that if you let land rest appropriately, it actually will grow even more in the year to come. And in the book of Deuteronomy, it takes it one step further beyond the land and beyond farming. We are about to read that every 7 years, when there is a Shemitah year, there is also a remission of debt among Jews. Following the declaration of a Shemitah year and the explanation that it includes relieving debt, the Torah states that there shall be no needy people among the community. It's a pretty lofty ambition. Releasing debt is one way that members of the community can take tangible action in order to care for others and in order to observe the Shemitah year, whether or not they actually were landowners. Each of these pieces of a Shemitah year, from the land to how we treat the poor, all contribute to making the world a little bit more just and a little bit more equitable. Part of living in accordance with the Jewish calendar is setting this time, whether it is every 6 days or every 6 years, to making an active role, an active effort to making this world a little bit better. May this passage of Torah that we are about to read remind each of us of that responsibility that we each have, and that we all have options. We can till our soil, we can look at how we can treat those in our community with a little bit more compassion, we have options on how we can be part of making this world a little bit better.